What's up everyone, Scotty from Chernobyl Studios. Interesting video for you today because we get to talk about some libraries that I personally love from silencing other sounds. Now this has been a commissioned video, they are sponsoring it. However, I want it to be known that for years I've been buying their libraries with my own money, never did a video about it, just supported the company because I really enjoyed the libraries. So I use these libraries all the time. This is not just a sponsored video, you know, for sponsored video's sake. I really love this company personally, actually, and 3 out of the 4 libraries that we're going to talk about now, I purchased with my own money before I even got in contact with them. So, the new library that came out from them is the Dojo Combat Synth, which we can see right here on the page. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the technical things straight away. First and foremost, you do need a full version of Kontakt. Now, I don't think this is particularly a big problem. I think in 2023, most people who are pretty serious about composition and songwriting probably already have a Kontakt license. And to be honest with you, if you were experimenting with drum libraries 5, 6, 7 years ago, before all of these plugins started coming out, you pretty much had to have a Kontakt license anyway. So I told Giuseppe, I think is how you say his name. Giuseppe in Italian, I have no idea. Giuseppe, let's just do it like that. I'll call him the G-Man from now on because I can't say the name. I told G-Man that said, I'm going to have to let you guys know that it's not Kontakt free player supported, and some people might view this negatively. But please also understand that these libraries are not $300. These are very high quality libraries, as I'm about to show you once we get over just some of these things here. So for right now, for $50 while this video is live, the sale might be over when you're watching this. Ridiculously affordable, okay? Insanely affordable, and these libraries have already been featured on top quality blockbuster products. Resident Evil 4 Remake, it's in there. Mandalorian, it's in there. A lot of movie and scoring composers really enjoy these libraries, so it's not just me, okay? So they've been around for years, so it's just not a brand new company. But that's the thing I want to point out right away. You do need the full version of Kontakt, so if that's not you, I'm sorry. This is the newest one. We'll get into this a little bit later. This is more of a, you know, as it says down here, principles of Japanese martial arts. However, the Kumite synth is like a really great, just fantastic, I wouldn't call it a cyberpunk style synth, but it's not overtly Japanese or Asian sounding. The Kata synth, totally East Asian, Japanese sounding in every way, with how the strings and everything are being morphed and how the instruments work. I'll show some of that to you, no worries. So the libraries that I bought with my own money are Omen, Maleventum, and Pain Piano, all the pages here respectively. Omen is probably one of my favorite libraries because it has all of the Nordic style, Scandinavian sounding instruments and atmospheres that I love. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm of the pagan persuasion, okay, of the old original European beliefs. So that's very close and dear to me. So these particular sounds and anything that sort of experiments with this style, I'm usually pretty keen to check out. Maleventum, same situation. Am I saying this right? Maleventum? I hope so. Same situation. A lot of different horns from different cultures, but again, you can get into this very Scandinavian type sound that just sounds brutal, you know. Right here's a good word, medieval, just old school, like old school in the fact that it's like old, you know, but also it can be haunting, it can be brutal, it can be epic. And Pain Piano, this would probably be more of the standard movie scoring kit type pieces here, like for trailers and for movies. But this is a great supplemental piece to have because when it comes to metal, this particular library cuts right through everything. So imagine, right, one of the big problems we know that you run into when you're using metalcore or you're doing metalcore and all these things, and you want to use drops and sound effects and car effects and explosions and blah, blah, blah. It's all like broadband, you know, you still have to kind of shape it and get it to where you want it to be so it works in the mix. Pain Piano is just the samples are so sharp and so unique that they cut through the mix no problem. So these are the 4 libraries we're going to talk a little bit about today. Dojo Combat Synth being the newest one. These are all on sale right now. I bought this for way more than 55 bucks. Same for this. I bought all these full price, I think, except for Dojo, which was given to me for this video. I just also want to point that out. This long intro out of the way. Let's start looking at some of the instruments here. Let's start with Pain Piano, actually. So I've got my little keyboard back here when I'm turning around. Let's move it over here so we make sure you see everything. So, as I mentioned, Pain Piano is more of the classic movie scoring, cue trailer scoring type instrument. We've got stabs and clusters and more sound effect type things. For example, like this. Right? So you can hear just how shrieking and shrill they are. So it has these high piercing notes that cut through the mix perfectly with a little bit of low end in there if you want to get some more punch and depth. But that's, you know, not necessarily. Main thing, you know, when you're doing these sound effects and you're trying to add dynamics to like drops or changes in the song, usually you want some kind of impact or some kind of shrill, or at least in my point of view, a different frequency stab that's not going to get muddled with the guitars. Let's go ahead and get some tonal stabs now. Here we go. So it's as described. These are tonal in nature. You can play melodies, as it were. But these really are more for just, oh, I have like a D. I'll have a low D and I want to just go bam, want to hit, you know, get a D note in there. And so tonal steps are quite nice. Looking at the interface here, you can also change the pitch, the volume, the low pass filter, high pass filter, resolution, and you got LFO dials here, pre-delay size for the convolution reverb that's built into this. So there's a lot of customizability even with just a simple instrument like these stabs and things like that. All right, so then we have a Detune Ghost piano here. I'll just go through a couple more of these. And one of the things that I really like about these libraries, and it's true across all of them, is that they're very musical, very playable. I can just kind of... Ooh, that's interesting. What could I do with that? That's pretty cool. And you'll also notice that you can change where the sample starts and ends. I mean, it starts. So if you want to, if you have like a, see if I can find one. Yeah, let's do this one. Yeah, I really like that. I really like that bit there, let's, for example. So I just want to get that little bit. There it is. That's pretty cool. All right. Bode, what did I use? It's kind of all I really used as far as the Pain Piano was concerned. Let's move on to the Maleventum. Maleventum. I use this one all the time. Pretty much anytime I do a Viking or Scandinavian styled song, this is going to show up somewhere. I did this on my mom's tribute song during the middle section there, the break before the blast beat, because it's just a great, as you can see here, sound design tool and melodic instrument. Let's just check some of the horns and pads first. All right, so it's a single instrument, as you can see here. So the snapshots that this guy does are amazing. Okay, a lot of times snapshots are just like, here's default settings for this, here's default settings for that. Good luck to you, have a good one. The snapshots here, look how many there are. He's really taking the time to think of, okay, what kind of atmosphere are we gonna make here? What can we do with this? What can we do with that? And just even the first one. Like, I wouldn't even do anything with that. Now, we can go into the edit page here. We can change parameters, the attack and the release, how we want the two instruments to sound together. We can change the blending options, the volume. And also, I really like how the faders do not move. Like, I don't click it and it goes whoop through the fucking roof right away. Like, it just yeets right off the fucking GUI. I don't really like that. I like that I kind of got to be very deliberate. But also allows me to really fine tune exactly where I want, you know, the volume faders to be to get the match that I want. And that's just one, right? Let's check another one. It's ridiculous. And it grows, it develops. So you can really create an atmosphere. I love these instruments. They're just great for composition, for creating ideas. That's one of the things that sort of annoys me sometimes about some of the other libraries on the market, where you look at them and you're like, man, that's amazing. It sounds fantastic. And then you get it, you open it, and you're like, fuck, I need to have like a degree in all of this. Like, I need to have a degree in wavetable synthesis and, you know, have all the key-based expression maps and spend hours just like learning how to use the damn instrument and program it. Or I can just get this, go through a bunch of snapshots, and find and just experiment, and I already start playing. I already start coming up with melodies. That's the main thing for me that's I really like. So it's unbeatable in my particular opinion. So I mean, you can map the CCs here to the wheel, or however you want things to work. Convolution reverb, once again, same thing as like I'm playing piano. Those are the horns. Those are the pads. Okay, all these snapshots here for creating amazing atmosphere. Just that Nordic, Scandinavian atmosphere. Just can't beat it. I love the way it sounds. Right now, that's one half of Maleventum. The other half now is sound design. This is where shit gets interesting. Very interesting. So let's just pick the Braams here. Ready for this? You notice that I just will go from like so I'm going from B to A, dun, dun, but the Braams are just not carbon copies of each other. They're literal instruments as well. Like, they're different tonal instruments. That sounds amazing. Fantastic. I mean, this is awesome. This is just a wet dream when it comes to trying to do like my blend of blackened Viking metal plus like the intro song that you heard. You know, I mean, that sounds raw and absolutely brutal. And it's all one guy's company, one set of sounds, right? Some more sound design stuff here. Incredible. Just incredible. War horns, man. War horns. Doesn't that sound awesome? Incredible. Killer. So, I love Maleventum library that I'm so happy that I bought with my own money. Was happy to buy it. No regrets at all. All right, now let's move on to Omen here. You're noticing that the libraries are pretty simple to use, right? That's the whole, like I was just saying, that's the whole point why I love these so much. It's you don't, you just, oh, okay, so Omen, here we go. You open it, Kontakt instruments, cool. Vocal layers, rhythmic chants, phrase builder, sorcery, vocal harmony, horns, growls, whispers, sentences, bonus percussions. This one is starting to be more of not just a sound design library, but more of an actual melodic instrument that you can use by itself to create sequences or scenes or atmospheres that you want to create, which is exactly what I did in the intro song that you heard. The whole beginning bit with all the incantations and the screaming and the chanting, it's all Omen. It's all I did there. Now, rhythmic chants here, I can show you this. You know, this was literally just... I think I did this one. So simple. I'm just playing 2 keys, but I'm getting an entire phrase. I'm getting an entire movement. And you can change the root key just by dragging this bit here to whatever you might be working in, or change the pitch of however you want to do it. So easy. It's so easy. I don't have to do anything. You know, I just that's what I'm in for. Now, when I'm, you know, I'm gonna be 38 years old this year. I got lots of responsibilities, lots of work to do, family to take care of, bills to pay. And when I have time to sit down and write, which seems to be only when I do YouTube videos, I don't want to sit there and have to go through a book of, hey, here's the fucking wavetable and here's how to use LFOs and all this. I just want cool instruments that I want to learn how to write with. And this lets me do that. Same thing, vocal layers. We have a truckload of snapshots again. So we can just pick a snapshot. Oh, what's this one sound like? Cool, now we got some pad stuff. Like instant Viking Slavic vocals right there. Fantastic. And already musical, right? So it's just, let's pick another one. I have no idea what this one sounds like. Hold on. Cool. Can I do a pad? Yeah. Pad. Just dicking around on the keyboard, doing nothing, right? Already getting musical ideas. So the same process is the same here for how the interface works. You can turn on and off the text, the pads, everything's here. You can pan it however you want. You can edit the instrument to be longer, shorter. The LFO, you can do all these things in here. You know, like I said, I don't know much about LFO stuff. I'm not a wavetable expert. I don't touch any of this. And the great thing is that this is the mark of a really good instrument. Is I don't have to, because the creator of this instrument spent so much time being creative himself, coming up with snapshots, that I can use this. I can actually use the snapshots and come up with cool shit. Very rare. You know, you guys know how I am about presets and stuff like that. I'm usually not a preset guy because I don't care, because I want to come up with my own stuff. But here is really an instrument where the snapshots are amazing starting points to really help you create something cool. All right. Now I use the phrase builder also in the intro, and that's just something like this here. So you can play around with the syllables here, and you can program them, and you can really come up with unique like sentences, like war chant sentences. All right, and you can change the order how they go. You can loop it, and then it'll go through each word. You can either change the time by quarter note or half note. So you can make a loop with one button. Okay, just one note on the keyboard, and there you go. I'm just pressing one button. So for example, if I go hold on. Let's make it faster. So you can come up with entire war chants that you want to come up with. Freaking, and same thing with the sorcery bit here. You can just press one button. Oops. Or you can just play it in if you want. I forget that I'm doing the video right now. Now I'm playing with little ideas straight away. Some more vocal horns here. Some more awesomeness. Recognize that one? That's the one I used in the intro song. Alright, got the same thing here with whispers. Just amazing, dude. I'm just going over and over myself. Bonus percussion I used also. You can get polyrhythm, so if I hold down one key and introduce another one, you can come up with cool polyrhythms, alright? So that's Omen. Let's talk about Combat Synth. Combat Synth's probably the most complicated of all the instruments that the guy has created. Because this one really goes a bit more down the rabbit hole of electronic synths. So it's obviously pretty Japanese oriented in the naming, Kumite Synth. I'm a fan of the name of Kumite Synth because Bloodsport, hands down, one of the best movies ever, even though the story is completely fake. Still a great movie, no problem enjoying the movie at all. We get definitely a more synthetic sound here. Where we're at. Go up a little bit. And obviously these are locked to my BPM, so if I crank the BPM up, but I think what is the classic? I think it's 130 is the dance. Okay, the Kumite synth is where the cyber synth really comes through. Once again, a complete truckload of snapshots, an absolute metric truckload and they tell you, hey, synth cues, underscoring to kind of be, to kind of like set a mood. cello. All right, you want to do some horror cello stuff? So very unique here in this aspect where we're using an instrument that's not really used at all in this capacity and making it sound gritty and aggressive and techy all at the same time. Pluck cues. No idea. Let's do this one. This would be great for underscoring something as well. Arpeggios, which I just one key. So as I've been saying earlier on in the video, I'm not an LFO expert. I don't know how to manipulate synths. I don't know what to do with wavetables. So in this particular aspect, this is where this particular instrument might be like, oof. I already mentioned to Giuseppe that it would be a really good idea to do videos, in particular with the Kumite synth, like really how to manipulate or what everything does here. The manuals, manuals are cool and stuff, but me personally, I love to see a video of a guy going, I do this because these are the type of sounds that I can get. I just tend to learn faster that way. So me personally, I would appreciate those kind of videos. But we can draw LFOs. I have no idea what, I guess these are different type of waves or different type of waveforms. Like I know this is sawtooth if I remember correctly. You can draw them how it morphs and animates, and you can change the rate, depth, cutoff of the resonance, pitch swell, volume control, very important. So you got this one is way more I wouldn't say complicated. You have more options, you have more control than the other libraries because it's a completely different philosophy of instrument. This is a synth-based style instrument, at least this particular instrument, okay, the Kumite one. But you can do this too. So a simple sine, pretty neat. And then right here on the interface, we have these, again, these, let me see if I can do this left-handed. I'm sure I can, yeah. So sample volume here, sample degrade. But mostly when we get these synth, we can change how it morphs by dragging the bar there. Already pretty neat that you can just, so that's how that interface works there in this particular case. Like the other instruments here, you had control of pads and vocal textures. So here you can control 2 different sets of synths, and there's a giant list. It's ridiculous. All the way you can change different synths, mix and match them, change how, how they sound. It's ridiculous. I'm just hitting one button. All I'm doing is changing the type of synth. Now, go to a different one here. Oh, let's see. Pitch modulation. So awesome. So this kind of thing is for a musician, right? Like me, a composer that wants to compose, wants to have movement, wants to have this type of style instrument, but doesn't want to buy Massive X and then spend a week learning how to do basic things with the wavetable so I can start creating effects like this, okay? Also, they're unique. Because remember, he's blending the synths with organic samples coming like this. So you're getting a unique take on how the synth instrument works. So yeah, everyone's done that, that 1990s Eurodance synth sound, all by itself and all that. But blending it with samples and coming up with unique atmospheres at the same time, you know, pretty cool. Samples right here, you can change, you know, how fast this, you know, attacker release of the volume, envelope filters. I'm showing this just relatively quick to you because, as I said, most of the time I don't even look at this. I just find the snapshot or the preset that I really like, and I go, cool. Maybe I'll turn the sample off because I don't want to have any atmospheric stuff. But then I'll just change basically the sample volume or how the synth morphing is going to happen here on the interface. And then if I turn on delay or verb in the effects bit right here. So that's the Kumite synth, okay? Now, you probably were like, well, that's not very Japanese sounding, Scott. Yeah, because the Kata synth is really where that's going to, you know, where you're going to hear that. It still sounds amazing. You know, I mean, I have to be honest, you know, East Asia and Japanese sounds are really not for me. But this sounds spooky and cool. Let's keep going. Let's do a pad texture. Let's do this. Oh, that's cool. Haven't heard that before. I like that. That's quite cool. Let's do some more, just more strings. So here's where, right here, the Asian aesthetic comes through. Once again, though, you can change the morphing right here. This, I kind of didn't notice this at first, but if you click and drag this little square inside here, you can change how the instrument sounds. It's like a really, really slow attack. Kind of put it in the middle. Get both. So, but it morphs slowly into that Japanese East Asian sound. This now, it's the same thing. Instead of morphing like LFOs, you're going to be morphing the layers of the different samples that are being played. So you have all the controls that you want to have, how things fade in and out. And obviously you've got delay, compression, and reverb here at the end. And just a ton of snapshots. You know how hard it would be, or annoying at least it would be, to write that kind of rhythm first? First, you'd have to have the instruments, you'd have to know how to program them, and you'd have to know the style of that culture to be able to do the rhythm correctly and to get everything working correctly. Or you can just buy Dojo Combat Synth and you have the Kata synth in here that does all that for you. And there's 10, what was that, sequences? There was, what did I just pick? Jet rhythm. There's 10, 3 versions of that. There's a metal rhythm. What's this? Versions of this. Amazing for scoring. That'd be awesome. Let's see, more. Let's do Reality Meltdown. That's cool. So you see what I mean? We're having the pad and the texture in the background glues that entire passage together, because the pad is staying consistent the whole time, even though I'm changing notes. But I'm getting tonal notes and getting a melody at the same time that pad is there the whole time. It's just so damn musical. It's so easy to come up with ideas. I'm literally just sitting here like, oh, that sounds cool. Let's do. Sounds cool. That's spooky, kind of a bit haunting. These instruments are fantastic from Silence and Other Sounds. I highly recommend all their stuff. I use it all the time, love it. And while I was only commissioned to do a video really about Dojo and Omen, I wanted to use the other libraries to tell you guys about them. So I've kind of gone above and beyond the scope of the original video to include a very in-depth intro song that took about 2.5 days to write, to work on. So I had a lot of fun with this video. This particular video means a lot to me because it's important. It's important to identify when someone does a good job. And Silence and Other Sounds, you're crushing it. Fantastic. And I think it's just a matter of time before you get, way bigger and much more recognition for the outstanding work that you do. I highly recommend all of these libraries. Get them for sound design, get them for music composition, just get them to get them. They're ridiculously affordable. Like, he could charge 170, 180 bucks. You're still be getting your money's worth just for the amount of snapshots and the quality of the samples and the instrument itself. But for $50, you can get the Dojo Combat Synth. That is just outrageous. In a good way, okay? So go to the website, link is down below. Really consider picking up these libraries and have a play, have fun with them. I really believe you're going to like them, all right? Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one.